and go click on my info page. And you will see my Time Bank account. I'm running it at my Facebook page now, where when I go play an accordion concert at a retirement home, I record I gave 2 hours to my community. And then when I went overseas, I recorded I owed 15 hours for 3 nights in France, and 15 hours for 3 nights in Helsinki, and 10 over here and 5 over here. And people see that I'm a guy who plays accordion concerts all over my community, and they can believe that if they call me up and say, hey, listen, can you put us up? We're coming to Brantford. I say, absolutely, I can't, but I can find a buddy who'll take your IOU for a night back in Europe.
So he isn't even redeeming his promissory obligation himself.
Well, I got a list of 50 countries. This was like 10 years ago at my site around the world.
So that would make it about 2000 when he purports to have resolved the issues which I resolved in 1968, which issues he's already proven in the prior parts of this discussion that he has yet to come to grips with.
And all you got to do is find somebody with an email and say, are you willing to take an IOU from me to put me up? And I just register it at my info page. So I have my own Facebook Time Bank account page at my info page where I list 4 things. Good ID, that's covered by Facebook. 1, what I want, what I offer, and then in the accounting, the hours I've given and the hours I've received. And there is my own person-to-person, interest-free, perfectly mathematically modeled economy.
Notice how he's claiming this without even any reference even to enforceability. Totally dodged the question, wanted to talk about something else. Just forget about it. Doesn't matter that it's the United States. Canada can loan you your chips if you can collateralize it. Where's the enforceability? You see, this matters. Enforceability matters because otherwise the money doesn't have any integrity whatsoever. But what possibly makes this mathematically perfected economy? How does it solve inflation and deflation? Well, you can state after the fact some kind of rough explanation how it might do so. But if you were intending to assert this, make this assertion in any credible way, wouldn't you show how it would solve inflation and deflation? How do you pay for a house? You just issue an IOU. What's your rate of payment? Oh, I trade so many oatmeal cookies down the road. That's what I make. I'm sorry. You need an explicit prescription for the life cycle of currency, which manifests in every conceivable or even possible situation in a perfected economy, a resultant volume of circulation, which he didn't even want to talk about a while ago. Instead it was just P, which it's not even close to. You have to prescribe these things and account for them. You can't just claim that this is mathematically perfected economy. How so? Mathematically perfected economy from its beginning was a careful accounting for anything and everything conceivable. The only way you can do that is by categorization of these potential faults of any prospective monetary thesis. You can't even go there without that. And so what is all this shouting and interruption? It's like, but anyway, he goes on and on and on, and you're hearing it. This is a one of the many, the ever more prolific pretended alternate solutions. And on what? By a fellow who claims to have invented all of the things which, at least a critical number of critical elements, which I'm the author of, and he hasn't even stated properly here, with the issue being that unless we can articulate exactly what is the cause of these consequences, we cannot engineer from that and realize ourselves what in fact is a solution. We cannot therefore unite upon effective solution. So we have to see through all of these preposterous assertions and credible assertions and which are never going to be offered as assertions. They're going to be offered as complete, comprehensive explanations. So I'm sorry, this is at best an education in what in truth is really quite blasphemous in regard to the related facts.
Because everybody gets to be their own bank if they want.
Well, I do have one issue with it. How do you figure your time is equal to my time?
Well, actually, I figure mine is worth more than yours. But when we spend it at the rate of a volunteer hour. Okay? But I don't know how much you can get it. You heard of time dollars in the United States?
I've heard of so many things. It just...
Well, have you heard of Edgar Cahn's time dollars in the United States?
Certainly.
They've moved. Okay. Well, they all pay each other the same thing. So they don't have any doctors, and they don't have any dentists, and they don't have any professionals who are going to work for a volunteer hour per hour like their dog walker does. All right? But in Ithaca hours, over there, a dentist can say, I want, because it's paper notes, and the central controllers cannot control the rates we earn our paper notes, they can say, I want 4 hours per hour to do that, pull that tooth. That's my fee. $40 an hour, 50. And no one can stop them from doing it and using it right. So we all spend our hours as volunteers, but we all have the right in a free market to earn them back at whatever rate we can get. Now, back to the time dollar story. I was at the King City Time Dollar Conference in, I believe, 2005, and I'm trying to convince these guys to go to paper tokens so they can have velocity of their chips, have more action without having to record every transaction. And I said the best way to do that is to have paper tokens that, need to be recorded every time. So they had started up some 10-minute time dollar tokens worth, or 6 minutes worth a buck to each, And so I pulled out my accordion during the break. They gave us all a certain amount to start. So I pulled out my accordion in the lunch hour, and I played busking outside the door of the conference hall for an hour, and I took in $41.
John,
and that's a free market.
My question is, why is your time worth more than mine?
No, because the economy gave me more than you could get. But if you get more than I could, well then yeah, the economy valued you more as me. That's a free market. That's okay, right? We're agreed that the better guys and harder workers got a right to earn more, right?
Yeah, in truth, a doctor, for instance, has to be a very disciplined professional, and they have further training. Same thing applies to a software engineer.
Yeah.
So
what they can get out of the economy is whatever they can get. And if they got it, that meant the guy who gave it to them agreed it was fair. That's why, as long as the chips...
Well, that's not what you said. You said your time was worth more than mine.
No. I said John the engineer, the professional gambler, who can make 4.8 bets per hour at the poker table. Probably my time is worth more than yours right now. That's all I meant to say. My time as a professional poker player, the best limit player in the world, is worth a lot more than the time of a guy baking hamburgers. That's my point. Odds are not many people are making the kind of huge earning rate that I do. And that's what I meant by I want a world where I can keep excelling and advertising. I'm the best. Anybody beat it? No. Good. That's all. So when I said my time was worth more, I should have said one of us's time is worth more, depending what you do. You might be the world's best surgeon and you're ending up making 6 bets per hour. Good for you. Or you're Michael Jackson or Elvis Presley.
Okay, so then if your time is not worth equal, why is it a time bank?
Because it's where you borrow your credits to spend until you can pay them back. Someone's got to start the
But
chips.
why would time be the unit if...
Because it's easier between countries. Hang on 1 second. Hello?
I'm wanting, of course, here to point out that there is no such thing as a flexible or undefined unit, a vacillating unit. A unit is a unit. So there's no such thing as a time unit which equates to value of our production, where they differ, where the value, that is, that it could possibly differ. But I want to note here at this juncture, however, that he just said they borrow the units into circulation. The quantity doesn't even exist. They're not borrowing anything. Indeed, they're issuing a promissory obligation. The reason I raise this, therefore, is that would either be an error or evidence of a fact that he does not understand this obfuscation of the currency, that his bank as well would only be pretending to loan these things into circulation. They're loaning nothing. A person is merely promising to pay at a future time, which is the very reason that interest is not justified and that principal is not the property of the bank. This bank should have no property as well, and I don't think that he's saying it does or it should. But nonetheless, what he has just said indicates that he doesn't understand that you are not borrowing money into circulation. That's not just a claim. This is an actual physical, material fact, a legal fact. You are not borrowing money into circulation. You are issuing a promissory obligation, which is represented by publishing money in whatever form, digital, paper, as he's just advocated. It makes no difference what the material is. What matters is the facts of the matter, and that is that all money comes into circulation as a consequence of our issuance of a promissory obligation. So that's a terrible misstatement. We do not borrow money into circulation. We issue promissory obligations.
Yes, go. Yes. I ain't got time. Bye. Oh, Jesus. Hello? Yes. No, I don't. I never heard of you. What's your name again? What's the name of the company? What's TCR? Well, obviously, if you can't even give me the name of your business, I'm not interested. Bye. Holy God. Talk about persistent. Someone from TCR.
Yeah.
When I said, well, what does TCR stand for? And then she didn't give me the answer. So I said, forget it, lady. Bye. Anyway, where were we?
I think it was about gambling and time and...
Oh, yeah, that's all. I'm just saying that if you have paper poker chips, no one can control the fair market. And there's nothing wrong with a fair market. And Elvis deserves the millions, maybe billions of hours that people have thrown to him because he can't spend them all. And then when he dies, they're recycled back to the whole database. So nobody minds Elvis being super rich because he can't spend it all. And we're all going to get back a prorated share if we threw him a couple of hours for that wonderful concert he gave us. You understand? Rich people do not inconvenience poor people by hogging the money when there's plenty of money for poor people too. Or chips. If you think in terms of poker chips, it all becomes always easiest.
Well, you know, I understand the concept, of course. I authored it. So, my problem is, well, why anyone who understands the concept would choose time as a unit, because
What
you
would you
just
choose?
invalidated that time is a unit. I would choose an abstract unit, which anyone